This is how I increase my closing rate amongst my 50 plus creative and marketing agencies doing over 10 plus years. So I worked with a fair amount at this point, and I have actually created a pretty standardized system on how I create proposals that look very premium, very unique, and essentially just increases the closing rate all in all. Because most people nowadays have something like this. They create a PDF, which they might think, oh, there's a bunch of nice information, there is text. I mean, this is pretty common, especially amongst bigger companies and more established companies, where you have a PDF, you have text, and the goal here is to replace this. I'm going to teach you how I build very custom and very premium looking proposal systems that truly stands out. As soon as you load in, you have your own experience, and it's going to be very unique. And the goal here at the end of this video is to have something very similar yourself. And of course, if you don't want to build it yourself, I've just put all the skills, all the knowledge down below that you can just copy. If you don't want to build the exact thing like step by step, you can just copy paste. That's fine. So I'm going to show you how you can make it more premium, how essentially you make you stand out compared to your competitors, not even doing something remotely the same. Because fundamentally, the whole experience comes down to everything, not just the discovery call, not just like how you handle specific questions. It's also how they view your agency and how your operations, such as proposal systems, look like. So to build something like this, we're going to use AI because obviously that's the power nowadays. And we're going to use something called Claude Code. Claude Code is huge. You can also use Cowork to a degree. You can use Codex. The CLI or the LLM, so like the AI model that you're using, doesn't really matter that much. It more comes down to the skills and how you prompt it. So if you want something such as Claude Code, I'm going to teach you very easily. You just have to like call how to install Claude Code on, in this case, Mac, because I use Mac. And you're basically going to find the top link from Claude or Anthropic, Quick Start Claude Code Docs. You're going to use this, as said, native install in macOS, Linux, or other computer use cases. So it kind of looks complicated. Don't get overwhelmed. It's more straightforward than you think. You don't have to be technical. You don't have to understand AI. It's very straightforward here. So the thing I want to do is going to go to your Mac. You're going to open your terminal. There's multiple ways of viewing your terminal. As you can see here, mine looks a bit different because I use something called Antigravity, which is Google own infrastructure basically. But to make this easy to use, open up your terminal in your Mac and then just copy paste this command. It's basically going to look something like this. It looks the same way. I just have it in a terminal or like in a CLI, so like interface. Going to work the same way. I'm going to pick the command from here and just going to copy paste this. It's very straightforward. You copy paste it, add it into the terminal, as it's called here. It might look a bit complex. Trust me, it's not. It's very straightforward. You open it here, you copy it in, and it basically starts installing and so on. That's it. Keep it simple. We can like make this more optimized later online and so on. I'm just going to close this out because I don't need it because I already have it. So yeah, once you have it installed, you just launch it, you log in with your Claude account, and then you're good to go. And most of you, I assume, already have an account or something similar. So the goal here is to, in short, build something premium, unique to you, and kind of makes you stand out. I picked Apple to have a good example. It looks premium. It looks similar to them, their branding, how they're kind of look like on their website, and kind of make it their tone. So if you go back to the Claude Code, I've actually built a skill like this already, like specifically so it looks more premium, it looks unique, and that's the entire goal here, to make it stand out. So I basically have a specific skill called webdeck, which basically creates high animated proposals based on a brand. So what I do personally in this case, of course you have to make it custom. The thing I do here is I import the meeting notes, the briefs, anything that you have for the client that you showcase or have information on. So in this example, I would put, hey, I can probably whisper flow this. like this. And then I can say, in this case, hey, my client is Apple. I want to create him a proposal. And the goal here is to make it Apple branding. So it's custom to the brand I'm sending to. Can I please also, in this case, focus on selling a proposal system to Apple specifically? So make sure it looks premium, make sure it has Apple branding, make sure it follows their color lines. And I'm going to pitch him 3 or 1 price of 22K. So yeah, $22K. And I want to make it premium. I want to make it look nice by following Apple's liquid glass theme. So it follows the branding and how they build. And during the meeting, it was important to focus on their Salesforce integration. That could be like a prompt here. So I basically give some context of what I'm trying to build. And the thing is, you won't have to build this custom skill yourself. I'm not going to force you to build anything or like do all the complex stuff. I'm going to give it down below in the Google Drive. You can download it, or in a file. You can download it and just import it into Claude. So just give it the file saying, hey, I just watched this YouTube video. Here's maybe the transcription of the YouTube video. Can you do this for me and add this skill? Because like we can build it from the scratch, but to save time, you don't have to go through the hard part, which I had to do to learn these sort of systems. So instead, just give it the context, say what you're trying to achieve. Maybe you can build some context as well. So sometimes I say like, hey, this is my company, this is what I do. Here's my brand. I can give my website, I can give my YouTube and so on. I can have things I do. So give some context, make it personal so it understands the background of everything. And yeah, then while this loads, I'm going to come back once this has been finished running. It's going to take maybe roughly 10 minutes or so of loading in total to make like everything custom. And then I'll reach back to you once this has successfully been completed. Another thing I want to touch on while this loads is that you can do it 2 ways. Either you brand it as yourself, so brand it as your brand. So like, hey, this is my company, here's my brand colors, here's what I do. Or you brand it as their brand colors, their style, it makes it unique to them. I personally like the latter, because if you think about it, when you think about how I built the proposal here, make it look premium, it looks premium because it's custom to them. It's their fonts, their text, their animation styles, and that's what makes it unique. You can make it yourself, but it does look kind of like a template if you make it like your own branding. So the best, in my opinion, is like mixing both. As you can see here, I have both like the Apple logo and my brand logo. And of course, I changed the color, I made it more unique, I made it fit, and so on. And that's kind of how you make a good proposal. You mix the 2 of them and then like make them unique. As you can see, it took about 7 minutes and it has created everything for me. So we can see the Salesforce and the Apple. We have the product peel, so like revenue, Salesforce, extra things which I mentioned as well. It did a 3-tier pricing. The reason I have 3-tier pricing is because I have that in the skill. But of course you can change that. Like, hey, I only want 1 pricing, which is 22K. If I go see the proposal now, we can see that it looks very similar. So obviously it's the same proposal, it's the same Apple. I mean, it won't look that much different. It has some small Salesforce integrations. You see small icons. The A here looks a bit weird. I might change that to obviously just say Apple here. Then I have focus on Salesforce and so on, sales up, all of it and so on, 3 phases and so on. Salesforce, then I have the scale. It followed my rules pretty damn good. So you can easily change this up. I mean, it's just like your own personal opinion. I can say, okay, I only want pricing, which is 22K. They can go back here and say like, you know, the A looks a bit weird. I like to take a screenshot of this and then go back here and say, this case, the image here, if the A isn't fitting in the frame either, please fix this. And then if you go back here, the thing I usually do is if I want to find something specific I like to see or like to see, I always go on 21st Dev. I mean, there's plenty of similar websites, but in here you can find pretty unique components that you can integrate into your proposal. So like you can have loading screens like this. If that's relevant, you can see, might look very cool in a proposal, or things like this. Doesn't this look nice? I might actually copy this. So let's take this visual, which I thought would look great, being honest. Copy prompt. It's going to copy the prompt, which I can use. And then I can basically copy paste this into my Antigravity terminal. But first, I'm going to let this run and complete it. As you can see, it also, of course, changes everything live. Hero changing. So the hero section, which is like the main title. You can see it changed more stuff here of specific words and so on. So yeah, in short, while this is working, I'm going to wait and then copy the new prompt, which I just found on the website of the new amazing animation. As you can see, quick 3 minutes, and it has now successfully been done with the new updates. It changes the word and the pricing. So I'm going to say, hey, can you please add this in the main loading page? I want a new animation. Copy the prompt which I took from the dev website. Thanks. So while that works, I can check out the new proposal. We can see if I refresh this, it obviously changed the A. Looks great. So Apple has been successfully done. If I scroll down to the pricing, also one price. So you can see how easy this is to change and like be flexible with. You change one thing, hey, like I want to have new pricing, or I want to like highlight this option. I want to change this thing. AI will do everything for you and understand stuff like this. So I highly recommend going to the website, find animations that you think are good looking. If it could like be scroll animations, it could be whatever you like, and then like implement them. Like this might look nice. So scroll here, find things that fit your own brand and your own personal things. For me, it usually is, okay, simple deck animations. I like having it straightforward. I don't like overthinking too much. I like getting straight to the point and so on. So you like customize based on what you do. If you do more creative work, I recommend definitely like implementing some creative integration, such as like highlighting client examples, putting specific systems. Kind of like I have on my website, right? I would do something like this. I would ask AI to create me a mockup, change up the names, make it like Apple here, change up the numbers, make it make sense. We can very easily customize these sort of things. As we can see, if the AI has not completed the task, it says it did differently. So it did change some things since I haven't built this in like Next.js or anything like Tailwind. So obviously that creates a problem here, which I should have thought about. And then, of course, replace the orange cosmic. So it understands kind of the branding quite well. So it followed my rules in terms of branding and decided we can't implement the exact same thing, mainly because it kind of would be look a bit weird in the proposal. So it stuck with the original task of, okay, we should have Apple branding, while still, of course, making it somewhat similar. I'm going to see how this looks like if it follows the tasks. Well, yeah. Okay, it does look a bit weird. It, instead of making it orange, it made the text white, which makes it kind of confusing. But yeah, as you can easily customize, you can change it. It did make it a bit more holistic. The point here is you can customize this, you can play around with it. The goal here isn't to having like one specific proposal. You test, you add new stuff, you play around with it, you change stuff. And the rest here for you is just like play around, test different scenarios, different approaches, add specific animations, let AI do the work. And now it's just like creative time. I can't like go into much depth, mainly because obviously it's going to be custom how each brand looks like. I just want to showcase you like how easy it is nowadays to create custom systems like this and not look like this when client asks you for a brief. It's so easy to look premium. It's so easy to look custom. Please make sure to spend time on that because it makes a huge difference on how you are getting portrayed as a brand. I think it's clear here to see on who you would prefer working with just out of a proposal and like a visual standpoint. Of course, as said, play around with it, test, see what you prefer, change brand colors, change stuff, make it custom. And now it's just about like testing and finding out what you want to change to make it custom to you. If you want a system like this, or if you want a proposal systems to look even better than this and want me to help you, schedule a call down below. I'm happy to kind of give you some guidance, tell you on what I would do. And eventually, if you want, I can do it for you. So yeah, that's it. I hope you appreciated the video about like how to create more custom systems, and you can do it however you want. There are 1,000 different ways of doing it. I have an example on my website here where I essentially build something different. It's more like this, so it looks more classic, clean, maybe more for the traditional local businesses. Could also work. So as said, play around, test, and then take it from there. Good luck, and the skills will be down below. You can download them for free. You can just implement the same thing I just built today without wasting the time going back and forth. Thanks.